Are you enjoying your life? Are you living the life that you always wanted? Or are you waiting for the life to change to start feel better and maybe start living? If the answer is yes, this video is for you. My name is Tatiana. I'm a life coach for women and I want to help you thrive. In today's video, I want to help you understand how to design the life that you will enjoy living. If you notice, I say design because there is life that just happens to us, and then there is life that we build strategically with careful planning and achieving goals that we want to achieve. And there is a big difference, and that difference is in the quality of that life. Let's dive in. There are 2 steps to this process. Easy steps: assessing where you are and assessing where you want to be. It's very simple, but the work that's in between is the challenge. So, step 1, evaluate your life. What it is that you like, what it is that you don't, what it is that you want to improve. And in order to do that exercise, I suggest you take some quiet time, or the time where you won't be interrupted, where you can truly think and reflect upon your life. I personally prefer to go on a walk or go on a run. That's when I tend to have my best thoughts and maybe most creative thoughts because of all the blood flow going. I don't know, but that's my personal preference. So, and during that time, reflect on your life and be honest with yourself. What are the parts in your life that you like? And what are the parts that you want to change? And it may be a few, it may be a lot, or maybe you want to completely revamp your life. I'll give you a few examples. One of the most common issues that women come to me is saying that their job is taking over their life. And it's really all it is. They work all the time. They don't spend enough time with their kids. They don't spend enough time with their spouse. They don't have the time to exercise or maybe go out and have fun. And the thing is, once they say that, they will immediately justify that, saying, oh, but I guess that's what everyone else does. I'm not the only one. My boss works just as much, or my colleagues work just as much. That's kind of the life that we're living. Everyone is working all the time. And that's where lies the problem. Instead of addressing the problem and finding ways to make changes, we justify our life. And that's why we continue leading the same life. It's like we're stuck in this hamster wheel where we know this life is not what we want. We justify that, oh, everyone is doing that. Therefore, we're going to continue doing that and continue complaining that it's not the life that we want. So, and if that's you, I would like to challenge you today to get out of the hamster wheel and start making changes with your life. And this brings me to the step number 2. Once you have identified the changes that you want to make, step number 2 is implement these changes. And that's where the hard part comes in. Because in order to implement these changes, you need to be committed. You need to hold yourself accountable, and you need to find the discipline to do that. And that's the hard part. How often have you started something only to stop or quit a few weeks later, a few months later? Because long-term changes are like building a new habit. They require new skills. And it takes time to commit to these new skills, to get used to them. But once we do, they usually say it takes about 3 weeks to implement a new change. So stick with the new changes at least for 3 weeks so that you can see the result before you call it quits. So in our example, so work is taking over your life. let's talk about what changes you can implement. Let's address multiple scenarios here. Let's say your job is toxic and the change will require getting a new job. So what you're going to do is, and remember, nobody is making you do these changes in a day, in two, in three. It's unrealistic. Our culture has conditioned us to believe that everything happens right away. We need to have patience and we need to have commitment. So changes take time. And in the case of a toxic work environment, set yourself a goal that, hey, I need to change this job. I'm going to give myself, let's say, 3, 4, 6 months to find a new job. This way, you're setting a realistic goal and you're committing yourself. You'll say, well, once a week, I'll spend X amount of time looking for a new job and I will be applying for this job. So, and within that, 3 to 6 months period of time, you will find a job that will help you get out of the toxic situation. Let's say, or in another scenario, you love your job and it's not that toxic, but maybe it's more your inability to set some boundaries, right? To set work limits. If that's the case, then you find a way to do so. Maybe have a conversation with your manager, or maybe commit to not doing any work on the weekends, or reducing the amount of time you spend on the weekends. Or another way is delegating or not signing up for additional projects. Whatever that is, figure this out and commit to the changes so that you can have some breathing room and start enjoying your life. Let's look at a few more examples. Let's say you want to travel more. How would you go about adding travel to your life? Again, remember that everything in life takes planning. So in order for you to travel, you need to start planning that into your schedule. You need to find time off. And of course, you need to find the budget. Identify which of these components are currently not supporting your goal of travel. And maybe it's all three, or maybe it's two of them. If you don't have enough funds to travel, make a plan. Make a plan to set money aside every month for your budget, for your travel account. Maybe it's buying one less coffee, buying one less dress, or sacrificing something else to get what you want, to get what will bring you more joy in life. Another example, let's say you want to exercise more because it's good for your health, but you don't have the time. So what can you do? First of all, in terms of exercise, get out of your head that you need 1 hour every day to exercise. How much exercise you need and you can squeeze into your day should be determined solely by you, by your lifestyle, by your commitments, and by the amount of time that you have. Even 10 minutes a day is better than 0 minutes a day. The reason I'm saying that is with exercise, especially what I see in women, is we find these excuses instead of finding 10 minutes. We don't have the money to pay a gym membership. Maybe there is no gym nearby that allows you to drive there. You cannot pay for personal training sessions. You cannot buy new running shoes, etc., etc. There are so many excuses of why not. The easiest way is to follow a YouTuber. There are so many free workouts on YouTube that you can do in your own home, even without equipment. And I know that why? Because that's what I do. So tell yourself, can I find 10 minutes? 10 minutes to do a quick workout. Yes, you can. So again, going back to the point is you have to be very honest with yourself. Is it you don't want to make these changes, or what is something else that preventing you from those changes? And once again, going back to working out, can you commit to 10 minutes every day to a short workout? Yes, you can. But the thing is, as I said, the most difficult part is to commit. Give yourself at least 3 weeks to commit to new changes so they can be long lasting changes in your life. And this can be applied again to everything in your life. Whatever it is that you want, you need to first identify and make a plan to achieve it. Do you want to start a new business? Maybe you like art, or maybe you like craft and you want to have a shop on Etsy. Maybe you want to be a YouTuber and have your own YouTube channel, or maybe you want to build a business. You don't want to be in the corporate world anymore. It's all doable, but you have to plan for it. And now I want to tell you 5 secrets of how to design a good life for yourself, a life that you want to enjoy. Not me, not your friend, not your parent, but you. Number 1, be strategic. People, what does this mean? You have to plan for everything that you want to happen in your life. You want to travel? Plan for it. You want to have a good job? Plan for it. You want to buy a house in a good neighborhood in a good city? Plan for it. You want your kids go to a good school? Plan for it. You want to be involved in your kids' community? Plan for it. The point is, not everything that you see is visible with the eye. When you see people living great lives, living in grand houses, going on vacations, driving nice cars, what you don't see is the work that people have put in. Number 2, have no FOMO. Have no fear of missing out. When you are busy building the life that you want, it's not missing out. It's getting closer and closer to your dreams. What does this mean? Yes, you might have to say no to all of these other things in order to reach your dreams. For example, you're trying to be in better shape and maybe you're trying to eat healthy and your friends are inviting you out to a party where you know they'll be drinking and unhealthy food. Think about how badly you want your goal and say no, for example, to that one particular party or this one bad choice. You're not missing out on the party. You are working on your goals. Let's say you want to travel and you planning this big trip to Europe and your friends invite you again somewhere out, or your friends want to go shopping and say, hey, let's buy all of this. This is where you have to say no because you have a greater goal that you're working on. Maybe you want to have a good job and you know that you need to study or maybe brush up on your skills for a specific thing in order to get an interview or interview well. This means you have to maybe give up a few of your weekends to study or to prepare and not go out and do other things. This is something that you really need to realize, that you are not missing out on anything when you're working on your dreams and on your goals. Number 3, do not make big life decisions during high emotions. Either when you're angry, frustrated, mad, or equally if you're elated and very happy. Do not make life-changing decisions because when you're not able to think clearly, you're not going to make a good decision. One of the very common impacts of that is when people get very mad at their jobs and quit on the spot because anger took over. Another example is maybe your life is not going good, your friends are making you mad, your job is making you mad, everything is making you mad, and you decide, you know what, I'm going to move to another country. Again, is that a good decision? Not in the moment of high emotions. Or maybe you're super happy and something really good happened and you decide you're going to buy a new car. Again, is that a smart decision? So avoid making decisions in highly emotional states. Number 4, surround yourself with the people that you admire, with the people who can teach you something, and with the people whose lifestyle maybe you are striving to achieve. Because most of the chances, these people will teach you something. These people will enrich your life experience. There's a good expression that says, you are the company you keep. Meaning, if you surround yourself by people who constantly have drama, who have negative mindset, or who constantly complain, guess what? That's what's going to become your reality. That's what you're going to be surrounding yourself with. And that's going to be start reflecting on you. You will start taking that on. That's not a good life to live. Surround yourself with positive people, with people who lift you up, with optimistic people, people who can enrich your life. And that alone will help you build a better life. And number 5, your mindset plays a big role in reaching your goals and building the life that you want. Commitment, discipline, accountability. If you want to get somewhere in life, if you want to improve your life, if you want to build a good life for yourself, you need to train your mind, and you owe it to yourself. Commitment, discipline, accountability. And And that's the tips. I hope you found them helpful. They're practical tips that you can start implementing today.